Hello and happy St. Patrick's Day. On today's episode, we are discussing the recently passed Kansas anti-trans law and the horrific and dangerous impact of these laws on the trans community. Also, we are chatting about the concept of luck and why some of us believe in it. Plus, is life really just a video game? I'm Sean Millhouse,
And I'm Jason LeCompte.
and this is Collect Your Thoughts. Hey, Jason. How's
Hey,
it
Sean.
going?
I'm good. I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm
Yeah?
a little lame at the moment.
Not the
I
best St.
hurt.
Patrick's Day, huh?
No, not exactly. Was playing pickleball and hurt my Achilles on my left foot. Yeah,
Oh,
so
no.
kind of crappy, kind of unlucky, I guess, maybe, since that's a part of our. But it's fine. I'm not in too much pain, so yeah, it's
You are
good.
such a
Managed.
trooper.
I try to be. I try if I'm not really just debilitated, but I'm also honoring what I need. And right now,
Yes.
like I'm good. I'm doing it. I'm fine.
I only had to threaten Jason with a lawsuit if he tried to back out of this recording. So, just kidding. No. He's like, get me out of this. I don't know how to use this power
No,
over
I'm
me."
not. It's all good. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's been a whirlwind
Okay.
of a few days. I had a funeral that I had to go home for. It was actually my grandmother who passed away on my
Yeah.
father's side. So, that's always tough, but she was 96 years old and
Oh, yeah.
lived a really long life. And I know that she's up in heaven with my grandfather who passed away
Yeah.
like 25 years ago. So,
Wow. Yeah.
I knew how much she deeply missed him when he passed away. So
Yeah,
there's
I'm sure.
always this feeling of like I'm glad, for I like that's at least my belief is that we get to be reunited with all the people and creatures
Yeah.
and things that we love in the afterlife, whatever that is. But so
Yeah.
anyway, but I did get some good quality time with family. But the travel, the back
Good.
and forth, it
Yeah.
was a quick turnaround, can be a little
Yeah.
wearing. But I mean, not like Achilles tearing wearing probably.
I do literally have a crutch right now that's helping me get around. So it's yeah. And honestly, I haven't been on now that I'm thinking about it.
Mhm.
32 years ago, I was on crutches for the one and only other time in my life, and now I have a crutch again. So happy anniversary? No, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad. My crutches are caffeine and sarcasm. So, I'm constantly.
But we need a
but
sound machine for that one. Yeah, that was
yes,
good.
I could add in a good old rim shot on there, but
Yeah.
I don't know if anyway, that's not warranted. So we have a lot to cover in this week's collection.
Mm.
And I wanted to get the thing that is really upsetting me on many levels anytime something like this comes up, but this one feels very personal because it has to do with my home state of Kansas. And that is the Kansas anti-trans law that was recently passed. So I'm going to get into that. On February 26, Kansas legislature passed a law, Senate Bill 244, that restricts transgender individuals from accessing bathrooms and locker rooms in public spaces based on sex assigned at birth and rolls back updated gender markers on driver's licenses and birth certificates. The bill was vetoed by Governor Laura Kelly, who I think is awesome, but the Republican supermajority in the Kansas legislature overrode the veto.
That's crazy.
Yeah. This law enables bounty-style lawsuits to be filed by individuals who believe they have shared a bathroom with a transgender person for damages of at least $1,000. According to the Human Rights Campaign, the bill was a gut-and-go tactic that removed the bill's original unrelated language, which is a tactic used all the time in Congress across states and in the nation.
Mhm.
and replaced this language with anti trans provisions without public notice or opportunity for testimony.
So the bounty style lawsuit you're talking about is like any one person can just come after anybody that they think that they should come after, right? They
Yep.
can just go get them like an outlaw.
If they suspect that this person shared a
Yeah.
space with them in these
Yep.
spaces, yes,
Yeah.
they can do that.
That's fucked up. Okay.
After Senate Bill 244 was brought to the floor for debate, Kansas State Representative Abby Boatman, a transgender woman, said the following: I have sat here for 5.5 hours and listened to this entire room debate my humanity and my ability to participate in the most basic functions of society. And from the bottom of my heart, I hope none of you have to ever sit through something like that. Transgender Kansans were given no grace period with this bill, as the law went into immediate effect, invalidating their updated driver's licenses and birth certificates. The law directs those affected to surrender these documents. The Washington Post reported the following: that two transgender Kansans sued the state on February 26th, the day the law took effect, saying it violates their constitutional rights, which, fuck yeah. The
Mhm.
complaint states that if the two are forced to get new licenses and use different bathrooms, they will risk being outed as transgender and could face harassment as a result. The lawsuit also states that losing access to those accommodations is also inconsistent with medical standards to treat gender dysphoria, which is absolutely accurate.
Yeah. Mhm.
Per the Human Rights Campaign, Kansas is now one of 21 states that restricts transgender people's access to bathrooms and other facilities in K through 12 schools and or government-owned buildings. Nationwide, 1 in 3 transgender people already live in states with school bathroom bans, and nearly 1 in 5 live where those restrictions extend across public buildings like libraries, courthouses, and universities. I had to talk about this because obviously the transgender population has been under egregious and completely unnecessary attack pretty much for all time, and it's just heated up excessively over the last decade. And then to see my home state implement this and to do it in the way, I mean, it was already horrific, but then
Yeah.
to do it in this way where there was no grace period, no ability to truly fight back and push back, and to even let the people of the state to truly get to speak out on this is so inhumane. And like all I can think is, what are the emotional and psychological ramifications of laws like these?
I mean, they're 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 so far reaching and so deep. There's one other piece though that to that article that you were reading that really sticks out. So I don't know if I saw somebody else comment on this, but I've been thinking about it a little bit. So if the federal government requires an ID to vote, and the state that you live in has now just revoked your ID as invalid,
Yep,
now you no longer can vote.
correct.
Now the United States is no longer for every citizen of the United States.
I mean, honestly,
That's
voting
just a
laws, voting restrictions, I mean, this is just par for the course, it seems, at this
I
point.
mean, we could do a whole series on that. But just to
Yeah.
me, like just this particular instance really illustrates like just how backwards, how down in a downward slope things are going right now in this country because we're no longer a free country. No, we no longer have free and fair democratic elections. Like this is the if we didn't have a turning point before, this is it, right? We've got millions of trans folks in the United States. It's not. This is not okay. So I thought that was an important thing to mention. But I mean the ramifications, like just that quote that you were talking about of the person who was saying like I
From
hope
Abby
that nobody.
State Senator Abby Bowman. Mhm.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where she says, from the bottom of my heart, I hope none of you ever have to sit through something like that. To call into question your your humanity, like let's go granular into that, right? So my ability to ride public transportation, my ability to secure housing, my ability to buy food, to go
To
to the
legally
fucking
drive to
bathroom,
work.
anything, right?
Yeah.
Humanity feels like this big, vague, sort of like almost untouchable kind of concept, right? Let's drill it down
Yeah.
to what it actually means. It's literally living your freaking life.
Yeah.
And to have that debated, a human being, an alive person having to sit there and hear another human being go, you don't have the right to live your life. There's zero right in that situation. It's zero. So the ramifications, the emotional, psychological ramifications, like I can't even begin to imagine what what kind of trauma what marks that's going to leave on
Yeah.
somebody who has to sit there and listen to that. Yeah.
What keeps coming up for me is I don't understand how 2.8 million people, which is only 1% of the US population,
Mhm.
identifies as trans. And yet this group keeps getting hunted over and over again, and their dignity and ability to live peaceful, independent lives without freedom, true
Mhm.
freedom,
Mhm.
continues to be interfered with and fucked with. I have my own instincts on this, but why do you think there is such an obsession with this group of people on this level?
I can. I'm pretty convinced. I mean, I've heard arguments and reasoning around this for the last, I don't know, 20 years probably. And I think the one that best fits is that this is from the literal fascist playbook, the
Yeah.
authoritarian playbook, where the populace needs to be united against a common enemy. And trans folks, I think they bring up emotional discomfort for a lot of people. A lot of it is because of a lack of knowledge. And I know, like speaking personally, I have gone through this journey myself where I was a young gay man out and I didn't really understand the trans
Same.
experience, right? And didn't really understand transgender folks. And so I shied away from them. I didn't really understand them. I was kind of afraid of people who were, were presenting as maybe not their assigned sex at birth. And so it really took some education and some
Yes.
leaning into that discomfort to go, hang on a second. Like, oh, now I understand, right? I understand these are people who don't feel like they are in the bodies that they were assigned.
Right.
And so all they're really trying to do is express who they feel like they are and live that life. What the fuck is wrong with that? Truly, right? Truly, it's not causing anybody around us any discomfort to say all of the egregious things that they come up with, all these reasons that we should hate and that we should unify against the trans community. None of them hold water. None of them. It is purely an emotional argument. It is purely fear that is being mongered,
Yes.
right? All fear mongering. That's all this is. And so that's what I think that's the biggest piece of this is they're just going to keep saying this thing that you don't really know about, that you don't really understand about, that makes you a little bit afraid. You should be afraid. You're right. Keep being afraid of it. Legislate against it. Hate it. Get it out of it. No, these are
Mhm.
people. These are people just trying to find some happiness, just trying to live their lives. That's the way that I view it.
You know what came up for me as you were saying all that is I remember as young as I'm guessing, I think this was 1992, 1993. It was when X-Men, the animated series, came out.
Mm,
And the whole lore of X-Men is essentially talking about people who are outcasted from society for reasons that
mhm,
are beyond their control and trying to control and basically limit their abilities and their rights. And one of the, I believe it was either a senator or a president that, was an animated character on this show, said something along the lines of humans fear what we don't understand.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that continues to be something that I always return to that, and I think, wow, I think I was 8, 9 years old at that time,
Mhm,
I absorbed that and was able to understand that as an 8 or 9-year-old. And here we are today with these draconian ways of treating people. And people in this country are guising it
mhm,
under morals and values that are based in religion,
mhm,
which to some that is what drives me crazy about it is because most texts do not explicitly tell people to condemn children of God in such a specific way.
Mhm.
But the interpretations that happened over time have allowed for people to believe that this is what their so-called maker wants, which is so the antithesis of loving one another. I don't know how a person who claims to be actually religious, who claims to be a child of God or whatever you follow, in
Mhm.
that at least religious sentiment, how dare you call yourself a person of God when you are treating these people like shit? You were treating them
Yeah.
like they are not human. And it
Right.
is, ugh, it just pisses me off because this is not obviously transgender people are the biggest target, it seems, right now, but
Mm.
obviously this has happened throughout time. This has
Right.
happened with women. This has happened with black and brown people. This has happened with every sort of marginalized
K
population. This has happened
K
with queer
folks. Yeah.
people,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm. Yeah.
and what Jason, what can we do to support trans folks right now to make sure that they know A, that there are people
Yeah.
fighting for them, and B,
Mhm.
that we are not going to let up until this bullshit gets
Mhm.
turned around somehow.
I think first, you and I both need to take a breath because we're both spun
No,
up about this. No,
I'm
I mean, it's
not.
obvious. No, I'm saying it's very important. It's a very important topic, right? It's
Yeah,
something that we should get spun up about. And I think it's important to remember that that's not the only thing
of
that we
course
should be
not.
doing is getting spun up, right? We should
Oh,
actually
yeah.
start to, yeah. So I guess for anybody listening and watching, like, I feel like what can you do? Like, this is, I think, sometimes where people start to glaze over. So I thought I might give like a low effort, medium effort, high effort answer to
Please,
this.
that's great.
Yeah. So I feel like at the bare minimum, like the lowest effort that you could put in to really support the trans community is to learn about the trans community. If you don't
Yes.
understand trans people, if you don't understand their experience, if you don't understand why they try and live the way they live, read about it.
Yeah.
Get on the internet, find some reputable sources, do a little bit of sleuthing. You can learn this information in 30 minutes. Like, it is
Yes.
not taxing. These are people. They're just people. And overall, like, generally speaking, the human experience is not that complicated. We're all just trying to live
Correct.
peaceful, comfortable lives, right? This is the trans folks just have a different kind of hurdle to get over. So just learn about it. Well, so the medium effort piece, I think you could go to a pride parade. Like, the vast majority of people in the US live near a big city, and most big cities have some sort of pride celebration. Even smaller towns, a lot of them have pride celebrations. Go to a pride celebration if you've never been to one before. See how many trans folks you can spot, right? And see how they're behaving. Like, if you don't have a trans friend, if you don't know anybody, right? Instead of just watching TV and seeing maybe a stereotypical or maybe just over dramatized type of person, go see trans people out in the real world, in the
Yes.
wild, right? And
Yes.
maybe if you're feeling bold, walk up to them and introduce yourself and say hi and have a small conversation, right? Just be a friend, just be a fellow human. To me, that's a medium effort.
Be
A high,
civil. You don't even have to be a friend, just be civil.
right.
Like,
Well, that's what I'm
literally just
saying.
be civil.
Right. Just be a nice human to another nice human, right? Yeah. A lot of those folks, rightfully so, are afraid for their lives at every turn. And pride events is one place where where all of us, I think, really feel safe and loved and able to be, like, express ourselves. And so just go meet somebody. That would be the medium effort. And the high effort, if you really want to make an impact, you really want to start to stoke some change in this country, volunteer, go actually meet, attend
Mhm.
a support group and ask about, how can I be an ally, right? Like,
Yes.
get involved. That's going to take some more effort, granted, but also, like, that's really important. Like, if you want people to feel safe in your community, you need to go into your community and tell them and create that safety. So I get that that's a lot
Amen.
more than maybe some people would do, but there you go. You got three choices, whatever your
I love
level of
that.
effort is.
Thanks, Jason. That's really excellent. I
Yeah.
loved how you broke that down. And I think if none of those feel approachable, then you're just truly resisting trying, in my opinion.
And I would argue part of the problem, because you're choosing to sit
Absolutely.
in the uninformed middle and do nothing. So,
Oof.
yeah.
My thing of what someone can do, if you have the means, donate to ACLU Kansas. They're the
Mm,
ones that are helping to fund this fight.
great.
Also,
I
just
love
the
that.
ACLU and the Human Rights Campaign in general. Those are great organizations that help the queer community be
Mhm.
able to fight for their right to dignity and freedom.
Yeah.
Also, the last thing I really want people to consider, if there is any confusion about this, because there apparently is a lot of that, is like Jason said, these are human beings. Imagine waking up and you do not have a valid driver's license. You do not have a valid birth certificate anymore. You do not have the same rights to go to the bathroom with peace of just being able to go
Mhm.
to the bathroom.
Pee.
I
You
have
just have to
seen
pee.
this up close and
Yeah.
personal when people are
Mhm.
impacted like this, and it breaks my heart because it's such a thing that all of us take for granted who don't have this type of problem.
Mhm.
And there is something I know I keep saying inhumane, but this is what we talked about with empathy last week
Yeah.
is this is about truly putting yourself in these people's shoes and remembering that every marginalized population, they do not choose these things for themselves.
Right.
These are
Right.
things that we all in these positions learn or have to learn to love about
Mhm.
ourselves in spite of all of the hatred and malice and trying to cut us down.
Yep.
So if you think this is something that these ideas that transgender people are being conformed into choosing this radical lifestyle, why the fuck would anybody choose that for themselves,
Yeah.
knowing what this world does to them? Working with trans people, we know specifically that these people fight every day to believe in themselves because the world keeps telling them that they are not good enough, that they are wrong for existing in this way, and that they need to figure out how to be okay with being completely disconnected from who they are in their soul.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine ever going up to another person and telling them you are wrong to believe what you believe about something that is only yours to decide.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
just
Well, yeah, well said. Yeah.
I
Uh,
so anyway,
yeah.
please consider all these things, and we're gonna keep our eye on this and other trans bills because that is part of what we do here. Collect Your Thoughts. Is It's important for us to make sure, especially in this time, I will not sit back and be afraid. Okay, I will be afraid, but I will fight anyway. That's what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do. Especially because I just saw that Texas they wanna pass a bill that basically calls out mental health professionals that work with transgender people.
I saw that.
Yeah,
They wanna vilify, yeah, therapists who work with trans youth as child abusers.
yes.
Yeah.
So, we're all on the line on this. That's a
Mhm.
thing we have to
Yeah.
remember throughout time. It maybe starts with one group, but it comes for us all.
It does.
It
Yeah.
always comes for us all. And
Mhm.
usually the last people standing, and people might have their thoughts about this, but come at me. White, cisgender, Christian men tend to be the ones left at the end who are at the top of that mountain calling the
Mm.
shots because that is how the system has been for most of time.
Yeah.
And while I do not want those folks to lose rights, they have to share just like all of us have to. That's what equality is. Anyway, hi.
And
Ah.
we'll be right back.
Okay, so with that,
Uh-huh, yeah.
I wanted to start out a little fiery because I
Great.
knew
And
I
yep,
even popped off my headphones. I was so
I
fiery.
know. You
Um,
you flew right out of your headphones.
I
Sean's a
lifted from my
Leo,
body.
everyone. Sean's a Leo, everyone. So he gets real fiery sometimes.
I mean, that's my jam.
Yeah, it's great.
And you know what? If people don't get fiery about shit, I feel sorry for them. Like
I agree. Yeah, no, I
you
agree.
know.
Yeah. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
come at me.
Mhm.
Anyway, we support you, our trans brothers and sisters and non-binary folks. We support all of you, and we
Mhm.
will keep fighting. So going with the fact that this is gonna be a hard pivot, but here we go. So today, the day of this episode we're coming out is
Yep.
St. Patrick's Day,
Mhm.
which is I have a deep soft spot for St. Patrick's Day being I am of Irish heritage
Mhm.
and so
Same.
I was
Yep.
lucky enough to be able to go to Ireland and it occurred during St. Patrick's Day
Oh,
when
wow.
I was a senior in high school
Mm.
and so to see that experience up close with the people in Dublin was wonderful. And so
Yeah.
I just love celebrating it. I get into the whole thing. I had many fun college days with St. Patrick's Day. It was awesome. But what
Yeah.
comes up a lot of times with St. Patrick's Day is the topic of luck. You know, we talk about
Mm.
leprechauns and pot of gold and shamrocks and all the, you know, four-leaf clovers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I thought we should talk about luck and what is
Sure.
luck? Where does this idea come from? And also how what are the factors that impact that for us or against us if we choose to participate in that, or what are some other takes on it? So I thought I would share at least one thing that Professor Richard Wiseman of the University of Hertfordshire in the UK,
Mm.
he did a 10-year scientific study into the nature of luck that has revealed that to a large extent, people make their own good and bad fortune. His research revealed that lucky people generate their own good fortune via four basic principles. They're skilled at creating and noticing chance opportunities, making
Mm.
lucky decisions by listening to their intuition, creating self fulfilling prophecies via positive expectations, and adopting a resilient attitude that transforms bad luck into good.
Mm.
And apparently, luck, you know, there's many definitions of it, but one that I always heard that I always return to because I think it kind
Yeah.
of uh, parlays into that sentiment is
Yeah.
a quote that is unofficially and potentially not correctly attributed to Roman philosopher Seneca, which is luck is when preparation meets opportunity, which I
Mm.
really love that
Yeah.
idea because it's
I've heard
saying,
that. Yeah. I've heard that a lot, like in popular media and stuff like that. So yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I love the idea that it's saying if you happen to be in the right place at the right time and you have done the work to
Mm.
meet the moment, there is a higher chance of so-called luck.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anyway, Jason, when we talk about this,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on like, is it real? Is it bullshit? What are we thinking?
I think, I mean, for so I've always felt really lucky.
Mhm.
Um, but I think if I pull back from that feeling and just try and examine like what is it that goes into that, like I feel like so you use it in this or it was used in this definition,
Mhm.
sort of like the difference between, so you're talking about luck and then also fortune, and to
Mhm.
me those are different principles. Like luck is, I think, largely considered like a random um happy outcome, right?
Like
Like
a
I
happy
found
accident
a
almost.
happy accident, right? Like I found, oh my gosh, I found $100 on the street. Like, I feel lucky. That kind of a thing, right? Where fortune, it might, it might feel lucky, but it's also about, I think it goes more towards like that preparation piece, right? Like I have a
Mhm.
sustained effort. I'm learning things. I might also have random lucky occurrences along the way, but fortune is sort of a longer term thing. And I think we conflate those terms and we use them
Yeah.
interchangeably, like in casual conversation. That's totally fine. But I just thought it was an interesting like way to view that, because for me, truly luck, is a matter of perspective.
Mm.
So, great example, right? I tore my Achilles tendon this morning playing pickleball, like I mentioned. Somebody could look at that situation and go, "Shit, that was really unlucky. You didn't even really do I didn't even really do anything outside my normal, right? It was a normal shot. All I did was go forward and hit the thing, and it pop, and I'm like, "Oh," right? but honestly, I feel lucky that I didn't tear it all the way and need immediate surgery.
Yeah.
Like, I'm lucky that it was a minor injury that I could ice, that I could wrap, that I could put up and just kind of rehab myself for a couple of weeks instead of having to go to the hospital and incur all of this, right? It could have easily gone that way.
Yeah.
So I'm actually feel pretty lucky that that's all that happened to me, right? So
Yeah.
again, it's a matter of perspective. Like somebody else could go, damn it, and now I'm going to be on crutches for 2 weeks. That sucks. I feel so unlucky. No, fuck that. Like I'm not. I'm being
I
serious.
believe you.
Like why?
Yeah.
Yeah, why would I let myself go think in that direction or feel in that direction, right? So yeah, a lot of it is perspective. So what? Yeah, what was your original question? I don't remember. I went on a whole diatribe.
Yeah, basically, yeah,
Yeah.
if you believe that luck is real, and
Yeah.
you answered another question I had, which is if you
Mm,
consider yourself lucky, which you
yeah.
alluded to kind of feeling that way.
So I've always answered that question. Yes, I
Wow.
do
That's
feel
great.
lucky throughout my whole life. So some of this I think is, maybe it's perspective, maybe it's the way that I'm wired, maybe it's the conditioning I received growing up, but I have always felt, and I think some of it is like, you said you have Irish heritage. Like, yeah, I also do. And we also used to say, oh, the luck of the Irish and, whatever, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
like the silly sort of idioms that we have in the US about those things. But, w- that to me, like that has always been a through line. Like I am a very, excuse me, if you want to bring the conflated term in, I'm a very fortunate person.
Mm,
I'm also a very privileged person. If you want to bring in yet another term that maybe we conflate with the word luck, right? I know that I am a white male.
yeah.
That brings a lot of privilege. So now I have advantage that some people don't have, where I can feel good about my sustained effort over time, which then can also promote a viewpoint where I see random happenstance in my favor as lucky. So they kind
Yes.
of all, right. There's an interweaving of interplay of all of those kinds of things. But yes, I mean, generally speaking, I feel lucky, and I really have. Is that
Hmm.
are you similar? Like, what's your take
Mm.
on you being lucky?
I do not consider myself a lucky person or a person with luck on their side
Mm, hmm.
on a regular basis. However, I definitely have have had moments where I think it really is a personality trait or choice. For example, when you were mentioning, how you can view circumstances that happen to you, like with your
Hmm.
Achilles,
Right.
is one of the things that when I was thinking about this topic, I thought about when I was 17 and I was on the way to pick up a friend, and on the way there it was raining, and my car, I could not figure out how to defrost my windows because they were
Yeah.
fogging up,
Uh,
and again, relatively newer driver at this point, and because
yeah.
I couldn't see and it was rainy and it was slick, I I ran into a large flower van
Oh.
and totaled
Oh.
my car. I
Oh,
didn't know this at the time.
no.
I didn't know this at the time because
Yeah,
luckily I came out unscathed. However,
yeah.
from everyone else around, basically said I was very lucky. Like I should have had some injury
Wow.
from that
Right.
because
Yeah,
of the impact and the circumstances. So even though some would say, "Well, you totaled your car, that sucks." Well,
yeah.
I had no injuries. Now, psychologically, I had some
Well,
injuries.
sure. Yeah.
Like I still really struggle sometimes during the rain, during
Sure.
braking, watching people and all that stuff, but, whatever, that comes with the territory,
Yep.
but in general, I was okay, and also, I had parents that, were able to help me out and eventually get me another car not too long after that, and that is incredibly privileged,
I
which
was gonna say,
also
that's
can
where
feel lucky.
fortune and privilege come in,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah, because somebody else in that
Yes.
situation, completely screwed,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like how you can view that. Also, there
Mhm.
are definitely times where I can think like, God, I really keep drawing the short end of the stick on
Mm. It
on
can feel
this
like
area or
that.
that area. Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also there might be factors behind that, such as where I'm
Yep.
at in my life, where other people are in theirs, the moment in time, like all kinds of circumstances.
Can I bring mental health into this for a second? So,
No. This
Okay,
is
great.
not a mental health podcast.
It absolutely is a mental health podcast. So because I know both of us have struggles with depression, I know that
Excuse me.
when
Just kidding.
I am not feeling my best in terms of my mental health, right? I don't see things like
Yeah.
that. I don't take that perspective. Does that affect you too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
colors
feel like
everything.
it really does, right? Like, and then it's like, oh my God, I tore my Achilles and my life is over and I'll never exercise again. And right, you can just start to
Mhm.
spiral. So I mean, I really feel like that's important to like be able to
I
recognize
love that.
when we're in a good mental health space
Yeah.
and take perspective on or not, right?
Yeah.
On the things that are happening around us. Don't put too much. If I was in a really dark place, I probably shouldn't put too much thought into this injury, right?
Yeah.
It's a minor inconvenience. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to manage it and move on. So I just, yeah, that to me, that's a big piece of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any rituals that you perform as any sort of acts of like believing that's going to give you a better chance of success or protecting you in some sense? And if so, what are they?
I feel like you're asking me if I'm superstitious and not lucky,
Correct.
but maybe
But
a
no,
little
but
bit.
I
That's
mean,
where,
isn't
yeah.
superstitiousness also
Kind
tied to
of.
believing in luck? Like, I think we participate in those things because we think it
We can
powers our
influence
luck.
luck.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what we tell
Yeah.
ourselves, that there's magic in it.
So you talk about like, are you talking about like when I wake up every morning and rub my rabbit's foot? That's
Are you revealing something about
no,
yourself?
no,
Liar.
no.
I've
I
seen that
did
rainbow rabbit's foot.
as a kid. As a kid, I carried a rabbit's foot around. I actually thought it was
Oh.
more of a novelty, I think. And then
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
the whole rabbit's foot luck thing. But
Wait. Can we
it's
back up? There might be younger
yeah.
people who do not know that was a
Oh,
thing.
all right. Gather around the radio, kids. Let Grandpa tell you a story about the
This was
rabbit's
not a
foot.
literal rabbit's foot. This was not an
No,
actual
I
rabbit's
caught
foot.
the rabbit and chopped it up. No, I did. No. This is okay. All right. For all of you youngsters listening that haven't seen an actual fucking rabbit's foot Lucky Charm,
Look it up.
God, they were actual feet of rabbits that were like taxidermied. And what they would do is they would put like a little cap on the end with a little chain. Is the
Wait,
one
they
that I
were
had.
real?
Yeah, dude, they were real. I'm sorry.
No, they were not.
I mean, as far as I know.
No. Okay, hold up.
Dude, we're talking about 40 years ago. Are you kidding me? Of course they were real.
Oh my God. Wait. Were rabbits? I gotta look this up. Y'all, I'm Googling.
He's looking it up but I am almost 100% that at least the one that I carried around for a long time was actually real. I think it was taxidermied.
You were right.
I know.
Yes,
I could
many
feel
rabbit foot keychains are real and made from the actual preserved feet of rabbits.
I could feel the little toes and the nails inside.
I just thought that was like really. Oh,
fucking. So Sean, you're in the kiddie group around the fire as Grandpa Jason is telling you this story. I'm sorry to like burst your bubble, but
participated in that.
they're absolutely real. Absolutely. So maybe some of them were not. Maybe some were not. But the one that I had as a kid was real. It was for sure. I remember. Anyway, they used to do this. It was a novelty item. It was sold as a good luck charm. It was like looking back now 40 years ago, I'm like, that's freaking gross and inhumane and terrible that we would do that. And I haven't seen a rabbit's
bright
foot.
colors like purple and green and red. Well, that's why I'm helping people. It doesn't look. It doesn't. Mine was red. Look like a real rabbit's foot. Like it looks like it, but it's brightly colored. So I convinced myself it was fake.
They're real. What a moment. What a live moment on this podcast.
Anyone out here is
fantastic.
also realizing this with me, who also experienced this, please drop a comment on @CollectYourThoughts podcast on Instagram, because I want to hear from you.
And then go get a comforting hug. Go get a comforting hug. Okay, so so that's what I'm talking about. I would carry around a rabbit's foot as a kid, and I thought it was lucky, but it's really just was more of a novelty. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about, like the rabbit's. That's what I'm talking about when I say that, right? But there's lots of little what do they call them? Talismans or
Yes.
or totems, right? People will
Totems.
carry
Yeah.
a little thing in your pocket, or maybe a chain on your neck, or something where you just feel like. And this is what I equate those things to, right? It's on the surface, it's a familiar thing, a transitional object that we like, that when we look at it might lighten our mood a little bit, right? So then we
Sure.
kind of like in a better frame of mind. Again, a lot of luck is perspective. But then deeper down, what I think is underneath that is it's a belief that maybe we can influence our own luck, but it's a belief also that we have luck on our side when we carry our little talisman with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so it puts us in, I think, a frame of mind to then start looking at things as coming our way versus going against us. Right. So
Yeah.
then it becomes just a belief that we are lucky. So again, that's as far as I think it goes. Does the universe then conspire because you're carrying your little talisman in your pocket to like bring all of this fortune into your life? No, dude. No, it's random. I believe the universe is random, right? But these things make us feel good, and they give us, a little bit of a different perspective. And so I think that's how it works. For me, that's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. I generally believe similarly.
Yeah.
However, there is not one. This is just the thing that came to me when I was
Sure.
thinking about this topic that I thought, how do we explain this outside of truly being lucky? I
Mhm.
remember when Jennifer Lawrence was on Amy Poehler's Good Hang podcast,
Mm.
and they were talking about how she got discovered. And she
Yeah.
literally wasn't she like in a mall food court, or she was walking down a street and some random person said, "You're beautiful. We want to like sign you up with our agency or whatever."
I might
Like,
be conflating her interview with Amy with Maya Hawke's interview, but I was thinking like a photographer or somebody from a modeling agency saw her and asked her, and that's how she got pulled in. I think that's
well,
what I
I think that
remember.
was Jennifer because Maya Hawke, I mean,
Okay,
she's
okay,
she's Ethan Hawke's and Uma Thurman's daughter, so I mean, she's got connections.
that's true. There's a little bit of nepotism there. Yeah, sure, but yeah,
Anyway.
nothing against Maya Hawke. She's
Oh, she's
absolutely
fabulous, and she's talented.
talented. Absolutely,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
earned
But
talent.
yeah, yeah, we might be right. Like she was definitely sort of quote unquote discovered, right? Was that lucky?
Yeah.
But was that fortunate? Was
I
that
mean, is that where luck and fortune cross
is that privilege because she's a beautiful white woman
to some extent? But
to
she
some
couldn't choose
extent?
that. She didn't choose her biology.
Right. 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 So then it was random, at least in that circumstance, where the right person saw her at the right time, right?
Yeah.
And then approached her and was like, you should be in movies or whatever they
Yeah.
said. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's so interesting.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what you're asking, we're just going back to do I have any rituals, right? Like I don't consciously in this moment, like I don't think that I do. I think there are some things that I do out of habit or that I will maybe think of, but like I should do this in order to get that outcome. I know
Mhm.
it's silly, right? And it tends for me towards superstition, and so I don't consider myself very superstitious. I did a long time ago, maybe in my early adulthood, I was, I would rub this or wear that or make sure I do this 3 times or those kinds of small things. But it was never an obsession, and it was never anything that I like truly, truly believed in. I really just do believe that like you put good out into the universe. Maybe that's where I come from. You
Mm,
put good out into the universe and you'll get good back, right? So maybe it's karma or whatever you want to call that
yeah.
vehicle, But that's what I just try and do is I just try and put good out and see the good that's coming in. That's all.
Fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you have rituals? Do you have
I
a
was
rabbit's
like, I
foot?
know I do. Dude, I
Not
don't think I'm ready
anymore.
to talk about that anymore.
I have to go bury my rabbit's foot in the ground.
Oh. Oh. I will say a
Uh-huh.
ritual that
Yeah.
I do every month, and I literally
Mm.
have a reminder on my phone,
Oh, nice.
is that on the first of the month at
Mm.
midnight, there is a superstition around saying rabbit, rabbit, rabbit 3 times that
Stop it.
is supposed to absolutely look it up. Sarah Jessica Parker, at the beginning of every month, posts an Instagram video that she does these cute little vignettes of, like, scenery and music. And then in the end, she only does it twice, even though I looked it up and it's supposed to be 3 times. But anyway, there's
Okay.
debate on if it's 2 or 3 times. Doesn't matter. So yeah, and then at the end, she goes, at the end of her little video, she goes, rabbit, rabbit. It's kind of creepy, but it's also like so there's something kind of campy about it that I love.
Mm, wow.
And
Yeah.
anyway, I do that.
I
And
had
so
no
literally,
idea about this ritual, and I had no idea that you did it. Yeah.
oh yeah, I do it every month. And when I speak, because those are supposed to be the 2 or 3 words that
Yeah.
you say before any other words when it turns the first of the month. And so
Wow.
if you speak other words, it's like, I know not necessarily a bad luck, but like you don't have the lucky protection. So
So then, scientifically speaking, Sean, has it worked out for you? Do you have evidence?
I do feel like, am I full of shithead? That
Uh-huh. Yeah.
the months that
Uh-huh.
I have had months where I realize, fuck, I didn't say rabbit, rabbit, rabbit first, and I feel like it throws me off.
See?
But I do truly think it's perspective. But I do
Oh,
like
yeah.
a good
Okay. Yeah.
superstition. I love a
Okay.
superstition. I
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
makes things fun. I
Mhm.
think that's the important point here. Is really
Yeah.
luck is what you make of it. At least that's how I see.
Meaning, like, when you are like, when you do receive something random and lucky, like, you capitalize on it, or you just see it and appreciate it? Like, what do you mean luck
I
is what you
mean,
make
a
it?
little it
What is it?
depends on the situation. Like, for example, like
Yeah.
I will often tell clients there will be times where I'm frustrated that I keep getting stuck behind the worst people that are slowing me down on the road. But
Mm.
then I've
Yeah.
had it where if I was just a little bit further up the road, I would have potentially gotten hit by a car because an accident happened right in front of me. And
Yeah.
so I
Mhm.
think, yes, that is fortunate, but also I feel lucky. And that was
Yeah, yeah,
something I
yeah.
couldn't have
Yeah.
prepared for.
Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah, like it's tricky, but I that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I think like it's what you make of it in terms of your perspective. You could be like, "Oh
Yeah.
god, I just saw an accident on the road in front of me and now I'm going to be even more late." Or you could say, "I wasn't in that accident. I'm so sorry those people were, but thank
Yeah.
goodness I wasn't."
Lucky it wasn't
And
me.
I feel
Yeah.
very fortunate and lucky.
Yeah.
So anyway, I know it's a little silly, but we need a little
Nah, it's good.
levity and
Of course. Of
silliness,
course.
especially
Yeah.
after, I firebombed with, my feelings about the Kansas anti-trans law.
No,
So
it's all good. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought, when we decided to discuss luck, it
Mm.
happened that you also found this really cool Instagram post,
Yeah.
and I thought maybe you could share a little bit about it with our listeners.
So for all of you kids who don't know what Instagram is, it's no, I'm not.
No, we're not doing that. That's on
We're
you.
not going. We don't need to go there. Yeah. So yeah, it actually is really cool. So I should. I'm going to just preface this by saying, like, I'm not. I would not consider myself a gamer. I am a somebody who enjoys playing video games, but I'm not
Yes.
going to. I can't adopt the term gamer to describe myself. Really, this was something from this page that I follow. It's got 2.5 million followers. Awaken One is the page. They're a verified Instagram page, and I love some of the stuff that they put up. So
Yeah.
they said, at 28, I realized life is a video game, and these are the rules. So it just really resonated with me, all of these things. So the first part is, says, if you don't choose a main quest, one is chosen for you. And I love this one because
Yes.
I do a lot of values work as a therapist, helping people identify their values, right? And so, and I usually say, like, we get a default. We have a default, like, operating system when we got to figure out, like, what plugins we got to, or what apps we got to add, like that kind of stuff, right? But we also have, at least in Western culture, like, there's kind of a default path in life, in
Mhm.
that you go to school, you graduate, you get a 9 to 5, you find a partner, get married, you buy a house 30 years ago.
Yes, like life by numbers.
Right. Yeah. Life by numbers. And then you work towards retirement, right? You raise the kids, you work towards retirement. But you don't have to choose that as your main quest. You could literally do anything else off that beaten path, or you can do something else for 30 years and then go to school and get a job and get married and settle down. And, like, you could
Or never
You can
get married.
or you can pick pieces of that. You're like, I would really like to own a home, but I want to have 12 cats and I want to live. It doesn't matter, right? Like
Yeah.
you literally choose your main quest. If you don't stop and think about it and make that choice, it's just going to be chosen for you. So that one really stuck out for me. I was really like that.
Love it.
Second one is your spawn point is random. I talk about this too in different ways, but like it says some start with gold, others with intelligence, or some with luck, which I thought was neat. You don't get any re-rolls. And so essentially it's like, don't quit complaining. Like
Yeah.
take what you've got and build on it, right?
You get the cards you're dealt.
Right. You don't get to choose what family you're born into. You don't get to choose the color of your skin. You don't get to choose your abilities or disabilities. Like you literally just, this is what you got.
It.
So what are you complaining for? Right. Like just work with it.
Love it.
The third one, your base stats are fixed.
This one was really interesting. I can say more on it after.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, explain it.
So your base stats are fixed. So if you're naturally analytical, build with that. Right? If you have physical prowess, if you're creative, if you're a social butterfly, lean into those, right? Forcing other things when you don't have the natural skill or talent, it will suck it out of you. It'll be so much harder to do that. It'll drain you, right? So yeah. So what were you thinking when you heard this?
No, because I think there were, especially growing up, I think a lot of, especially boys, are taught that being athletic is a value you should strive for. And I am just not a naturally athletic person. I am just not coordinated. I also I don't get into when competition feels really adversarial, it makes me sad because it's not fun anymore for me. And so it has to be I just have to know what the vibe is. And so I think helped me really say like, yeah, like even though I am not strong in that area, I do have other areas that are my base stats I think that I have emotional intelligence that I've just always had since I was a young kid. I've always been able, I was that, like a lot of people, I was one of those taught like, you have like an older soul, or wow, you really talk, like a grown up or whatever. Like I was way more interested in the grown ups than other kids. And so anyway, like I just think of that as, lean into what you are naturally great at and curate around that.
I wish that, we could go back and tell our 8-year-old selves these things, right?
Yes.
Because of all of the, right? If the majority culture is prizing athletic prowess and we don't feel like we have that talent, then we're going to feel less than, right? And I hate that. I hate how we don't acknowledge someone's skills or don't allow them to really develop them. And so anyway, we could go on and on and on, but
yes.
So the next one, your build is flexible. The build of your character, right? Your base stats are locked, but your skill tree isn't. You can change careers, you can change habits, you can even change your identity. This one I really like too, because I am an example of somebody who changed careers several times. I've worked with clients who are in school, right? And maybe completing their undergrad in their mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s. And a lot of the stuff that's in their head is like, they're beating themselves up over not graduating at 22, not getting the job right away, not finding a partner in college and marrying them. Like they feel like they're quote unquote behind. And I'm like, seriously, we have got to allow for more flexibility, right? You can, you can change these things over and over and over again. I didn't graduate college until I was 25 years old. I went to graduate school at 33 years old. Like I am one of those examples. So like, if your life isn't working, change it. Learn a new skill, right? Go back to school, whatever it is. Yeah.
Which is easier said than done depending on various factors. Correct. But absolutely, we do have choices.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. This one is one that I feel like we all this next one could really, really take a page out of. And it's just curate your environment. I think we talked about this on a previous episode about like your diet is what you take in, and that's not just food, right? So what you see on a daily basis, it shapes you, and and even like your freaking Reels feed on
Yeah.
Instagram will train your brain each day to look for those things, right? If all of you're getting is dramatic things, you're going to start to think dramatically, right? All you're getting is all the terrible news in the world. That's all you're going to walk around because you're literally training your brain to see those things, right? But if you fill your feed with
Right.
educational content, right, or fun or happy content, or cute cat videos or whatever, right? Like that's going to be the way that it's definitely going to affect you. Just the same
Right.
way as if all you eat is, fried food versus fresh fruits and vegetables, like your body is, you're gonna feel different. You're gonna behave differently. So yeah, yeah. This one of the 10 that I'm gonna read, this one is my favorite.
This one's everything.
XP, meaning experience points.
Thank
XP,
you.
right? Just for everybody who doesn't know, right? Again, I'm
Yeah.
not a gamer. Had to look it up. This one,
Yes.
so yeah. So XP only comes from action. And one of my favorite examples of this when I'm talking to people is I say you can't learn how to swim by reading a book about swimming. You literally
Boom.
have to get in the
Boom.
water, right? Yeah. So reading, planning, watching others play doesn't bring you experience points. Reps do. Boring, unglamorous reps. You gotta do the thing to learn how to do the thing, right?
Got to keep practicing. That's
Yeah.
all I tell people is like,
Yeah.
you can't do it once. Life is practice. You have to
Yeah.
keep practicing to make it a part of you.
But practice, I think that word gets lost
It
in
does.
overuse, right? Practice means do.
Practice
It
means
means
do.
do the thing. So
Don't
yeah,
just
that's
think
why this
about
one.
it.
Yeah, that's why this one sticks out for me. This is my favorite, right?
Love it.
The other one, consistency beats talent. So talent helps,
yes.
right? Talent helps, but it's just the term they use is a passive buff, which
Mhm.
I kind of like that. I had to take it into context, but I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like it does help, but it's not everything, right?
Yes.
Consistency is what carries you past most anybody else who just fails, right? Who just
Which
kind of pulls out. Yeah.
to also another term is a buff
Yeah.
in gaming is
Yeah.
basically a strength that you bring
strength,
forth.
right.
So
Yeah.
that's why when they say talent helps, but it's just a passive buff, it's saying that it is a passive talent. Like, or
Right.
it's passive to have talent, but it's what you do with that talent and how you practice it consistently that
Right.
makes the difference.
Right. To me, that really does, and I've noticed that there are the things that I do and that I do consistently, I get better at, right? Including my fatal flaw of today, pickleball. I was having such a great time. I was like, oh, I'm actually playing really well, like, and having a great time.
Oh.
Pop, like, but I mean, it's only because I play regularly that I'm actually starting to get better. But the only reason I'm getting better at pickleball is because I'm consistently practicing it, right? All right. Next one is life is a single player game with co-op modes. You experience life through your own perspective, but the right partners, the right co-gamers, right? The right mentors, the right friends, the right relationships can multiply your progress.
We can't
I
do
think
it
this is
alone,
great.
but we do it alone.
Right.
But we have to ask for help from all of the people in our lives that are going to enhance our progress.
Right. We are social creatures. And what that means to me is that we thrive through social connection. We learn new skills. We receive support when we need it, right? We go farther together. That's from an African proverb, right? So that one is
a rising tide lifts all boats.
Hey, there you go, right? Yeah. So partnering with having the right people in your life and similarly or conversely having the wrong people in your life, right, can detract from your progress. So really making sure that you have good people around you, good friends with good values, strong, however you can bolster that. Like that to me is huge. I like that one.
Huge. Yes.
All right. Number 9, side quests matter more than they look. This one, I really like this one too because right. So it's actually, I'm seeing this particular sentiment like in lots of other places online about how they promote happiness. Like life is not about the main quest. It's not about the 9 to 5 and the marriage and the house and the right. That's the main quest. Okay, great. If you're doing well in the main quest, awesome.
Yes.
But the shit that spices it up, that it makes it really interesting and fun and worth living, that's all the small things, all the fun side things that we would choose to do. Right.
Yes.
So So the way they describe it is health, relationships, curiosity, and play. They don't seem productive, but they quietly unlock late game perks.
Yes.
Like positive mental health, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
more satisfying relationships,
Like richer experiences because you have
ri-
more of them from doing
100%.
side
Yeah,
quests.
right. Yeah. It's fun. It just makes life more fun. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My main quest might be having a career in therapy, but this side quest of a podcast,
Woo woo.
it's fucking awesome. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, last one. You decide what winning means. I talk about this one too.
Mm.
You decide what winning means. Money, freedom, mastery, peace. There's no leaderboard. Pick your ending before the credits roll. So to me, what that means is you get to decide what I won the game looks like. You get to decide
Yes.
the meaning of your life.
Yes.
Which again, like, it's so great, right? They all fit so well. But if we're not intentionally saying, when I cross this finish line, I can really look back and go, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Right.
You,
That
you
to me is satisfying. Yeah.
Yeah, all I was just going to add was that what came up for me was remembering there was a female Olympian who I think she got silver or bronze in her sport. And one of the reporters was like, I mean, does it bum you out that you lost? You didn't get gold? And she said, I have an Olympic medal. I got to go to the Olympics. I got to qualify for the Olympics, and then I got a medal. Do you realize how big of a deal that is? No, I do not feel like I lost.
No way.
And of course, you're shooting for gold. Of course, the aim is to
Sure,
get
sure.
to the top, but my goodness, to say that we're not going to give value to just being lucky enough to participate at that level, that is winning if you decide that it's winning.
Going to the Olympics is winning.
Yes.
That you are amongst your country's elitist athletes in your sport. To be able to compete against everybody else's elitist athletes. If I came in dead fucking last in my sport, I would be like, I won.
For real.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was my Instagram posts for the week. I just thought, really fun.
I
really,
love it because
really great perspective. Yeah.
It truly does. I think just say so much. And this post was dated February 18th of this year. So again, if you want to go to this Instagram page, it's Awaken One, which is _awaken _ONE and then another underscore. So look up Awaken One and you should be able to find it somehow.
Yeah, it's great. Like I said, 2.5 million followers. So they're doing something right.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've done a lot of collecting, so let's dive into what are some takeaways for all of our people listening and watching right now.
I think my number one would be get yourself a rabbit's foot, probably. Like that. No, Sean, no, don't get a rabbit's foot.
Don't do it.
That luck is about perspective. To me, that's the big one that I would want to take away. It is really how you're seeing the world, and this goes back to something that once again, it wouldn't be a Collect Your Thoughts episode without mentioning Brene Brown. I think she would say that the practice of gratitude, like that's the piece where that comes in, right? Practicing gratitude is really about looking at your life through that lucky lens. Yeah. It's saying, I have all of these amazing things in my life and I feel grateful for them. But if we don't practice that, we won't develop that perspective, right?
Correct.
So for me, that's maybe the biggest around luck. You can't learn how to swim without getting in the water, right? You can't read a book about swimming and learn how to swim. So go do the thing, right? If you're interested in the thing, even if you're just curious, even if you're a little bit scared, just go try the thing. Like, is it really that enormous, right? Level up, get some experience points, decide if you do like it or if you don't like it, right? And the other part I would say is support your trans neighbors. There's almost 3 million of them in the US. They make up about 1% of our population. This is not some scary boogeyman of which there are 10 in a population of 350 million. Like, these are real people just trying to live peaceful, happy lives. Just figure out how to support them, please. It's not this is it to me, it's not a big deal, and I get that it is for a lot, but, like, that's what everybody wants and needs. It's just some love and support and understanding.
Absolutely. My takeaway is all of us have seen, I would like to think most of us, almost everybody has seen a movie where there is a definitive hero and there are definitive villains, and we know what they look like. We know what their
Mm,
traits are. We know that they usually are people who end up doing the right thing when they're heroes,
mm,
and the villains tend to be very short-sighted and also operating from a place of tunnel vision that really blocks them from being able to see perspectives beyond their own. And I when I think about movies and then I think about what is currently happening in our world,
mm,
if you do not look at this current administration and the things that they say and the things that they do, and if you can't compare them to superhero villains in movies or any other movies where you know who the villains are,
mhm,
look at the energy of those characters in those movies who are the villains, and then look at the energy of the people who are doing things to, for example, the trans community and other marginalized populations.
mhm,
And you will probably see something there if you really want to pay attention that really depicts a very clear line of what is a morally good person, a hero, and
mm,
what is a villain or someone that has maybe lost their way and is now doing things that are considered what I consider villainous.
mhm,
So my question or my my suggestion is ask yourself, do I want to be a hero
mm,
or do I want to be a villain? And if so, what does that really mean
yeah,
when I say that I want to be what I want to be? And what
yeah,
does that entail? And then live
nice.
your life like that. And I think if you really do some soul searching, you'll know that being a hero means protecting everyone, including our trans brothers and sisters.
Amen.
That's my takeaway. So now we are getting into our secret questions. And so, Jason, what do you got?
Alright, so what area of your life do you wish that you were luckier? And what efforts do you feel like
Mm.
you can make to create the conditions for that to happen?
Oh, that I have an easy answer.
Great.
My genetics around my weight.
Mm,
I drew a card that has made it very difficult for me to be at a healthy body weight. And I am surrounded by family members who do not have this problem. Sure, I mean, there's always like, people maybe being heavier than their ideal weight, but I'm
mm,
talking about true obesity, which is something that
okay.
since I was 4 years old, I
Mm,
have had these struggles. And so for me, it is something that I did not choose for myself that has often felt like, I wanna be where the people are kind of sentiment
sure.
of feeling trapped in my
Yeah.
circumstances. So, what I've been doing is kind of what I talked about last time, which is changing my relationship with food, changing how I look at being active, looking at it as truly a privilege to move my body and to not forget how lucky we are to breathe and walk and move and participate in life,
Mm,
and to also be able to, I think, really also have gratitude for any area in which I am able to, I think, find relief in a way that is actually helpful and healthy and supportive and nurturing. And that's definitely something that I've had to shape for myself in being able to decide, like, how I deal with something that has felt like an unlucky, place for me in my life.
dice roll. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's a great answer. Yeah,
What about
cool.
you? I couldn't think of a really good question, so I
Mm,
can I co-opt that and turn it back on you?
sure. Yeah. I think I am sometimes envious of people who have such strong and supportive relationships with their families of origin.
Mm,
There are people that I talk to that have sometimes daily conversations with a sibling or a parent or as an adult, right? And they have these like seeming like really strong, and I think I wish I could have more of that. I wish I didn't have such division in my family over some of these societal values in which it ends up that I'm going to be estranged from people that I love. And so that piece, I don't know if I don't know that I would call it lucky or unlucky, but
mhm.
it is something that I don't that I feel like see, again, my brain goes right to I'm looking at it as I've learned so much through this progress. I've gained so much perspective in the vein of grief and loss.
Mm,
I've learned how to live with and understand. Like my brain goes right to seeing it as a positive, even though it was huge and painful, and it's something I
yeah.
wish didn't happen. Right? I know what has come of it. So, and the second part, what conditions could I create? Like, I don't know that there are. That's a relational dance. It takes two. I feel like I've done what I can do. It's not coming back, so I have to just let it go. So
I
while
mean,
I don't feel as fortunate as some people who have those really, really close relationships, I do feel fortunate that I've been able to learn from the experience, the things that I have learned.
is it a stretch to say that you've been able to create that family for yourself outside of what that biological lens is?
It's not a stretch. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, found family is ironically, this is gonna be a whole other episode. We find family literally. That is what we do all the time, straight people
Mhm.
included. This is what we do. We go out into the world and we find somebody we want to marry, and then we create a family with them. I did that. I've done that many times in many different ways with many different people that I would call brother or sister or niece or nephew or right. Like I call them that because I love them in that way, that
Yeah.
family way. So I'm choosing them and they're choosing me, and we are chosen family. Like we're just not legally married or legally adopted or whatever it might be,
Yeah.
right? So like it's just funny to me that the queer community has come up with this term found family, and really what it is that's what we do as humans is we find family. So it's not a
Yes.
stretch. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great question and great answer.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it.
So, I think we should get in some shout outs.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you got?
I'm gonna shout out everybody that I was playing pickleball with today. So
Great.
our friends Jared and Isaac, that's who we were playing. My husband and I were playing against. And then all of the really responsive and kind staff at the gym where I went down and asked for an ice
Oh,
pack, and then I was swarmed by people making sure that I was okay. There was actually even I didn't mention this earlier, but there was an EMT that was on site for
wow.
another person, and they were like, there's just somebody here already, we don't have to call an ambulance, like do you want him just to come stop by? And I was like, I think I'm okay. They're like, well, he's coming, he's stopping by. I'm like, okay, great.
Good. Thank
So I
God.
literally had like 6 or 7 people attending to me, and then there was my husband and our friends, and so I just felt really cared for. Like that was just a really like, so I'm shouting out all of those people for just helping me feel okay and not like, I ruined their day or whatever.
I mean, I would also say part
Yeah.
of you mentioned it earlier, but hearing that that EMT was there sounds quite lucky to me.
Okay, you're right. It was.
I mean,
It
that did
was.
not have to happen that way.
It did not. It did not have to
You
happen.
know, but
No. No.
you can
Yeah.
do what you want with that.
And no, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So that's my
Yeah.
shout outs is everybody who helped even,
Yeah.
and I'll give a extra special shout out to Isaac, who pushed me in the wheelchair out to the
Oh,
front. They had a wheelchair in the back, and I got in it and he pushed me to the front where Andrew was waiting with the car. So yeah.
good
Yeah,
friends, good people.
for
Yeah,
sure.
we gotta take care
For
of each
sure.
other. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking
Yeah.
care of my friend.
What do you got? What are your shout outs?
So my shout out is I know I do a lot of music shout outs, and it's because it is music is truly
It's life.
maybe it really is kind of my life. It
Uh-huh.
is.
Yeah.
It's what keeps me going. It's what I
Mhm.
turn to when I need support, when I need release, whatever. And
Yeah.
so I want to give specific shout out, which is this is kind of on the nose, is Hillary Duff, who I will say I grew up with Hillary Duff was a younger thing. Like that was not part of my growing up generation
Sure.
necessarily, but I always appreciated her like some of her singles here and there. They were just fun, innocent pop songs, whatever. She seems like a decent human being from what
Mhm.
I've picked up from her in her interviews and stuff. Of course, we see what we want to see. But she did just release a new album a few weeks ago called Luck or something.
Oh.
And it's such it's what is really great about this album. I recommend it to anybody who is in a long-term relationship because she covers so many areas of talking about wanting to keep the spark alive and how do you deal with insecurity when you see your partner talking to someone else when
Mm.
or will you stop having first times even after you've been with someone for a long time but also leaning into examining relationships, friendships, family dynamics, and healing. And what I love is that the last lyrics of the album, which is on this great song called "Adult Size Medium," is she says, "How did we get here? Was it luck or something? Was it luck or something?"
Huh.
And because she's basically talking about there's times where she feels like she's as she puts it, "I feel like I'm living in a dream sequence. Sometimes I don't see me in it." And it's a great
Oh.
album. It's super catchy. It's
Huh.
not that long. It's a really great bop. And I appreciate when artists truly lean into their experience and you can hear and feel through the lyrics and through the performance and the production that they truly had a very purposeful picture of what they wanted. So
Mm.
for all of my millennials out there who want an album that really speaks to having lived a little bit life, but still having hopefully a lot of life ahead of them, this
Mhm.
album, Luck or Something by Hillary Duff, is excellent. And I shout that out.
Great. That's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So, whew, well, today was what was a barn burner?
It kinda was, right? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Which, this is why I love getting to do this is
Mhm.
being able to talk about things again that are very, I think, deeply serious and important, and also silly and also important.
Mm.
And to do it with a good friend who also has some really great perspective. So I feel
Mm.
very lucky to get
Aw.
to do this with you, Jason. So thank you
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, for sure.
for joining me today. And we would love to ask for everybody if you get a chance to subscribe to
Mm.
our podcast, Collect Your Thoughts, wherever you get podcasts. If you would like to rate us and give us a review, that would be phenomenal. That
That'd
really
be great.
helps our podcasts get out there and reach other people. And also, you can find us at Collect Your Thoughts Podcast on Instagram for more little goodies. So,
Yeah.
with that all being said, I hope that each and every one of you takes a nice deep breath and
Collects your thoughts.
that's right. Everyone have an awesome, awesome week. We'll see you next time.
Thanks. Bye.